Every year, tens of thousands of people just like you are making the move to Vancouver Island, chasing the West Coast dream of living near the ocean, the mountains, and in nature. But there's often one mistake that they are overlooking. Today, I'm going to break down the biggest mistakes of living on Vancouver Island. We're going to cover the little things that create the biggest regrets, like buying in the wrong areas, underestimating monthly costs of living on the island, and of course, the health system here. Now stick around, because the biggest mistake is normally the one that you don't even see coming. So let's get after it right now. Mistake number one is property taxes on new home construction. This can really be like a money bomb waiting to go off. When you purchase your new home construction, BC Assessment, which is the body that actually assesses the taxes on both your land value and the building value, what will happen is when you purchase the property, you're going to see a lower property tax amount. That is because the very first year, they're basing it on the land value only. Now, you go to buy the home, you're like, wow, those property taxes are not bad. Now, wait till year two, and it's that sucker punch in the face, because they can go 300, 400, 500% higher for property taxes. Once BC Assessment assesses the land and the building, your property taxes are going to skyrocket it. And we already look in the Victoria area, 2024 in comparison to 2025, property taxes have increased 8%. If you're looking at the Nanaimo area, it's been a 7.5% increase from year to date. Now I'm going to give you an example of what this actually looks like here with real life MLS listings. When you're looking at this listing, this one here is in the Courtenay area. I want to give you some real life numbers. Let's go into my computer right now. I'm going to pull up some examples from the back end of MLS. Now this home at 3284 Mary Grove Place in Courtenay, this is a brand new home construction. You can see the year built is 2025 and it is pending, which means that subjects have been removed. It's just waiting for the closing date. Now the sale price was $1,350,000. Now look at the property taxes, $2,214. What a deal, right? Until it comes to next July the 2nd. That is the date that property taxes are owed in BC. I'm going to show you a comparison of a home just down the road that was built 1 year prior. This is 3366 Mary Grove Drive in Courtenay. This home, again, built in 2022, and it was priced at $1,299,000. Look at the taxes on this. $8,979. That's almost a 400% increase from when you would have bought the home originally. So what you'll want to do is, to avoid this, what we do for our clients is we pull up this actual data. So if you're looking to buy a new home construction in any area of the Vancouver Island, we'll find a home that's 1 year, 2 years tops of age, and we'll look at what is the estimated property taxes. So that way you can take that amount, you'll be able to divide it into monthly payments, you'll be able to put that money away so that when that new tax season comes on year two of your new home construction, you won't be punched in the mouth with a high tax bill. By the way, my name's Justin White with the High Tide Real Estate Group. My team and I have sold hundreds of homes on the Vancouver Island area, and we are the #1 relocation team for people like yourself looking to make the move to Vancouver Island. Now, if you're new to the channel, you'll want to hit that subscribe button down below and tap that bell so you'll be the first to get real estate information and lifestyle information about living on Vancouver Island. And if you're looking to make a move to the island, all of our contact details are down below. Set up a Zoom call with myself, Justin, or one of our team members here at High Tide Real Estate Group. No matter if you're 1 month or 1 year away from making a move, let's get those questions answered today. So we're talking about mistakes about moving to Vancouver Island. Mistake number 2, it's underestimating the traffic on the island. Now, you're thinking in comparison to what? Maybe you already live in Toronto or Calgary or the Lower Mainland and Vancouver area, and you're already battling 30 minutes, 45, an hour worth of driving each way on your commute back and forth to work. Well, don't let the island life underestimate you. We do have a lot of traffic here on the island. It would depend on which area. If we look at the Greater Victoria area, has over 500,000 people living on the small tip of the southern end of Vancouver Island. So the traffic, especially during the peak hours, which will be 8 in the morning till 10 in the morning and 3:30 until 5:30, those are our rush hour periods. So do anticipate that you're going to be spending some time driving. In fact, the average person on Vancouver Island spends 36 hours a year in traffic. Think about that. That's almost a full work week sitting in your car in traffic each and every year. On average, your spend for gasoline is $638. That's just in traffic in idling time. So again, don't let the island life, set you back. You've got to look at where you're going to be living and how much traffic, depending if you have to commute. Now, a lot of our clients that are moving from outside the area, they work online. So then that would depend on how long it takes to get from your office to your kitchen and your bathroom. There's your commute. But for everybody else, you're going to be driving. So if you're looking at the Victoria area and you're thinking, well, I'm going to go and live on the outskirts, because as we go further away from the heart of Victoria, the property prices drop. Now, not a lot, but slightly. So if you're looking to live in the area like Sydney, which is northeast of Victoria, you want to estimate in that you're going to have a drive time of 35 to 38 minutes. Now that's going to be depending on traffic. And one of the things you want to take into consideration is the ferry. The ferry takes off from that area, so you'll want to think about, well, when are the ferries coming through? Because if you're caught in that ferry traffic, you're going to have a slowdown. Or if you're going northbound towards the ferry and it is getting close to ferry time, you're going to have a rush of traffic for people are trying to make that ferry sailing. Now on the other side, we get a lot of our clients that are moving to places like the Western Communities, Colwood, Langford, or even out to Souk. These areas, you're gonna have extreme traffic. They actually called it the Colwood Crawl because there is only one highway out of Victoria. So what happens is we get a bottleneck, especially in the rush hour as you're going north into that Colwood or West Shore communities. Another thing we want to consider when we talk about traffic is the busy summer travel season. The Greater Victoria area is a destination spot for people from around the world, and it attracts 4.2 million visitors a year. If you're talking about cars, buses, bicycles, all the traffic is going to increase. So now if you're thinking about making the move, you may want to consider if you can do it outside of that busy traveling time, which starts June and it runs all the way to September. That will allow a little bit of an easement on our traffic flow in the Greater Victoria area. Now, a pro tip, if you're looking to move to Vancouver Island, you're coming here for a visit, which a lot of our clients do. They make a stay vacation out of it, and they come, we set up what's called an exploratory tour where we can take them to different areas of the island so they can feel what it's like, see the traffic, see the different homes, and look at the different price points. So a pro tip suggestion is to come here not just on a weekend, but also stay the extra Monday. So as you hone down and get that specific area that you're thinking of moving to, you'll get to see not just what the traffic is on the weekend, but also how is that rush hour commute, so you can figure and actually calculate in how much traffic you're gonna have when you make the move to Vancouver Island. Mistake number 3, trying to time the real estate market here on Vancouver Island. There's an old saying that says, don't try and time the market, it's time in the market. Right now in the market, it takes approximately 45 days on market to sell a home, which doesn't sound very bad. In fact, it's actually not bad at all. But here's the kicker. There is 7 months of inventory for single family dwellings, 3-bedroom, 2-bath on average in the Greater Victoria area. What does that mean? That means it's actually an opportunity if you're looking to buy. If we go back and look at the 2019-2020 market, there was maybe 2 to 3 weeks worth of inventory that were on there. Now with 7 months, what's happening is there's a lot of inventory and buyers are smart. They're taking their time. They have technology tools online, looking at realtor.com, looking at Zillow. They're taking their time and they're looking at all their different options. Now, what does that mean? It means if you're a buyer, this is the time where you'll want to start looking. Many of our clients are talking about, well, you know what? We're gonna wait for interest rates to drop. Now, I'm gonna tell you why that can be one of the most costly things that you can say right now if you're looking to get into the housing market. If we go back, history repeats itself. In 2019 and 2020, what happened is interest rates were low. They were 2%, 2.1, 2.2%. And what happened to the home prices? They were skyrocketing. In fact, people were going in with offers and they were well above asking price. And we had multiple offers where there'd be 8, 10, 12, 20 offers on the same home. You would stick a for sale sign in your lawn and it would be sold with offers coming in like that. That is not the case. And when we look at history, whenever interest rates go down, home prices go up. Now in 2024, we saw an increase of the interest rate. So what happened? We saw a softening of property prices here on Vancouver Island. Now lately in 2025, we've seen the interest rate start to go down, and yet the home prices have not caught up yet. So we're in this really rare window of time where homes are still affordable. And in fact, there's incentives actually right now, even on pre-owned homes. I've been seeing in listings where sellers are willing to give $5,000, $10,000 in reno costs back to the buyers. They know that there's some outdating and there's improvements needed on the home, so they're giving incentives by paying the renovation costs after closing date. Or I'll see where they're going and they're saying, well, you know what, we'll pay your property taxes for the first year, or we'll give you a bonus for window blinds, a window covering incentive. So this we have not seen ever, and now we're starting to see it on Vancouver Island. So this is a really rare window in time where if you're looking to buy, you know, if you wait on the sidelines, I guarantee you, we have a database full of thousands of people that are just waiting for the interest rates to drop. Well, what do you think is going to happen when that happens? We're going to have a mass exodus flood of people coming into the market, buying everything up, and naturally supply and demand, house prices are going to go up with it. Doesn't matter if you're looking for a townhome, a commercial property, a single family dwelling, or multifamily, houses will go up, property prices will go up when interest prices go down. Why is number 3 mistake one of the biggest, thinking that you'll flip it soon? 2 reasons. Number 1, we have our flippers tax in the province of BC. This was initiated in 2024, that if you purchase the home and it is your primary dwelling and you don't live in there for 2 years minimum, 24 months, you're going to be charged a 20% tax on any of the gain of the property. So for example, you buy a home for $600,000 and you live in it for 1 year, you sell that property for $700,000, that means you made a $100,000 gain. So the government of Canada will take $20,000 or 20% of that gain. So that is another reason that you don't want to be looking at a short-term buy and sell situation. The other one is costs. You want to calculate in closing costs are anywhere between 3.5% up to 5% on Vancouver Island. I give an example, $850,000 home. After you pay realtor fees, you pay property transfer taxes, you're going to be looking at about $35,000 to $50,000 in fees. So by selling it 1 year, it really doesn't have enough time to gain that appreciation in the market. You've got to be in the market right now, minimum of 3 to 5 years to really benefit from that gain of that appreciation in the market. Then you're going to be avoiding also that buyer flippers tax that's out there from the government of BC. One of my dark horses right now is that where people aren't looking, but my smart investor clients are looking, is Campbell River. Campbell River area is slated to double in the next 5 years for population. Now, if you start looking at Campbell River, they've actually designed the city for growth in mind. As you're driving into Campbell River down the Jubilee Parkway, you're going to see new subdivision, new subdivision, new subdivision, new townhome, new multifamily dwelling, because they already had the structure set up and in mind years and years ago when the city of Campbell River designed the layout. The other thing you're going to notice is that blue chip 500, Fortune 500 companies that have now been established in Campbell River, they spend millions of dollars on research. They don't open up new businesses in areas that are going to go down. So what we've seen is the addition of a lot of new Fortune 500 companies in the Campbell River area. They have a Walmart Supercenter, Home Depot, Canadian Tire, Jysk, Winners, PetSmart. Now, this is an area where if you're looking to buy, in comparison to the Nanaimo area, a standard single family dwelling in Nanaimo is going to run you around $950 to $1 million. That same home in Campbell River, you're looking at $750, $800. So you're going to be able to put a lot of money back into your pocket when looking at the Campbell River area. If you haven't already seen it, go and check out our videos on the Campbell River area. We made a special video for brand new home construction under $650,000, and you're going to be surprised on what value you get in the Campbell River area. Mistake number 4 is the health system and family doctors. In January 2025, there's an estimated 700,000 British Columbians that were without a family doctor. A number has been decreasing, but still represents a significant shortage despite efforts to improve recruitment and retention. Now, the province has seen an increase in new family doctors taking on patients and more people being connected to primary providers through initiatives like a new longitudinal care payment model, which launched in 2023. However, the demand from a growing and aging population means more physicians are still needed, as many doctors also leave family practice for other areas of medicine, creating bottlenecks in the healthcare system on Vancouver Island. Now, factors contributing to this and the shortage are high demand, a growing and aging population in BC increases the overall demand for primary care services. Now, physician references, many family doctors are choosing other areas of medicine that offer better pay and less administrative burden, such as urgent care, telehealth, cosmetic clinics, instead of going with that long-term family practice. Now, retirements, more doctors are needed to replace those who are retiring from the aging population of doctors. Now, here with High Tide Real Estate Group, we've been able to help a lot of care physicians, both from Canada and the US, that are making the move as the British Columbian government makes it more attractive for doctors to live here. Now, that goes on the flip side. We are having more doctors that are migrating to the island, which is softening the issue of healthcare, because doctors who are living in Toronto or Vancouver Island, I want to have a lifestyle with my family as well. I want to be able to mountain bike when I'm off on the weekends. I want to be able to go skiing and snowboarding up Mount Washington. I want to be out in the ocean, boating, fishing, and enjoying that time with my family. So this has been a big incentive for young doctors that are getting into the practice here on Vancouver Island. The clients that we work with here at High Tide Real Estate Group, they become part of our buyer relocation program. And part of our program is that we'll send a list of family physicians in their specific area so that they can contact them and go on the waiting list. Now, this is part of our initial discovery call where we'll encourage our clients, even in the early stages of looking at real estate, to contact the family physicians in that area. Now, this does not cost anything, but what will happen is you'll want to get your family on those lists of family physicians on the waiting list now, so that when a spot opens, you'll be able to snap up that opportunity. Now, even if you're not moved here by the time they call you, you can still have a family physician here. If you're 1 month, 2 months out, it's better to get on those waiting lists now than to wait till after you make the move and have the delay of missing that family physician. We are having a shortage as well as a closing of clinics here. So a lot of families are defaulting having to go to the hospital, to the emergency room when they have an illness or they hurt themselves. Now, the plus side of that is in the Courtenay and Campbell River area. 5 years ago, they built new hospitals. So these are state-of-the-art equipment. This is really attracting new physicians, new specialists to the area by having these new facilities. Now, if you're looking at the Victoria area, that has one of the largest on the island for cancer clinics. So if you have a family member that's going through it, much like my dad did, you don't have to worry about taking the ferry. They actually have services that will bus or take a private van up and down the island, bringing you for your cancer treatment down in Victoria. If there's major surgeries that are needed or required, the largest hospital on the island is the Victoria General Hospital. So a lot of this time when you move to the island, this is the area that you will need to be in. You don't need to worry about taking the ferry over for family medical treatment. But of course, let's get you on that list of the waiting list for family physicians so you'll be ahead of the game before making your move to Vancouver Island. Now, mistake number 5 is all about time. It's not rushing the process. Too many of our clients give us a call and say, I need to be there in 60 days or 90 days. The market does not move that quickly here. So you'll want to give yourself a minimum of 3 to 4 months. This will take the pressure and the stress off of your home buying experience. Now, we have a step-by-step process, which what we want to do is meet with a Zoom call first, get all the decision makers together. We want to hear what is it that you want, what do you need, and what's preventing. We want to make sure that we remove those obstacles up front. Now, one of those things that we would talk about is getting a local lender so that way you'll already be pre-approved and not having to rush around. And a lot of our clients, actually 92% of the buyers on Vancouver Island are not from here. So what we want to do is we want to get you to come here on a weekend, have a little staycation, have a nice Airbnb. If you need a list of hotels, we have hotels. We'd recommend restaurants. We would recommend sites that you'll want to see. So you really can take it into a vacation and make it a lot of fun for the whole family. Now, why do you want to get pre-approved? Because we want to know what your budget is. If you come to Vancouver Island and we don't have your budget dialed in, I guarantee you 3 things are going to happen. Number 1, you're going to get upset with myself or one of my team members as your real estate agent because we didn't properly prepare you. And you're going to find a home that you fall in love with and you won't be able to buy it. Now, if you find that home, you fell in love with it, and you miss the opportunity, the second thing is gonna happen. Your wife is gonna have a broken heart. And if I'm talking to the gentleman out there, I don't want your wife to have a broken heart because you'll hear about it. I know I would for my wife. If you don't get that house that she fell in love with. Now, the third thing that's gonna happen, if you don't get that home and you're not prepared and you miss out, is that when you do make the move to Vancouver Island, every time you drive by that home, you're going to be angry and upset you didn't get it. And life is too good on Vancouver Island to be angry and upset. So what we want to do is introduce you to a local lender mortgage broker who's going to get you properly pre-approved. Now, talking about when you're going to move here, of course, I mentioned the busiest months is our summer season all across Vancouver Island. Starts in June when the kids get out of school and it ends at the end of September. So if you're thinking about making the move, if you are flexible with your dates, October, November, December, or even January are a great time to move. You're going to miss out on that holiday traffic as well. You may be able to secure a better rate with a lot of moving companies because it is the shoulder season. Now, of course, working with our team, we are going to get the home that ticks most of your boxes. Now, we never say there's a perfect home because what's going to make it perfect is you and your family. But we want to make sure we get you in a home that takes everything you need, everything you want, and almost all of those boxes. But we also want to save you money on your home purchase. How do we do that? 3 simple step process. Number 1, what we want to do is humanize you. When a seller gets an offer, what do you think the first thing that they're looking at? How much? What's the offer price? Well, in BC, we have a law that says whatever I send the seller's agent, they have to show it to their sellers in the order that we send it. So what we want to do is they won't know who Bob and Mary Jones are on the offer. So we want to humanize you. How do we do that? Step 1, we have what's called a sweetheart letter. This is a letter that our team writes. It's a few questions about who you are personally, why you're excited to make the move to the area, what do you do as a hobby, what do you like to do when you're not at work, all kinds of information about you and your family. And then what we'll do is we'll ask you for one of your favorite family photos that we'll attach on the bottom. This is just a one-page simple sweetheart letter, and it's going to be addressed specifically to the seller. You'd be surprised how many times that we've submitted an offer and the sellers love the family. Now, yes, this pulls a little bit at the heartstrings, but also, again, this humanizes you. They can't unsee what they read. So we want them not just to read about you, but also to see a picture of you and your family. The second step to our signature buyers process is the need for certainty. Working with our qualified mortgage broker, he's going to be actually sending a video to the seller saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer are fully pre-approved for your home on 123 Main Street. In fact, I've included a spreadsheet down below with our offer price. This is going to explain and show how they're fully pre-approved when you accept the offer on your home. This gives the seller, again, certainty that you have your ducks in a row. You wouldn't believe that over 50% of the offers on Vancouver Island collapse due to people not having their financing in place. And the third way that we're going to save you money is with the deposit amount. Every contract of purchase and sale or offer in BC has to have a deposit amount. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to show the sellers that you have that deposit by taking a screenshot of your bank account showing the deposit amount in there, again giving them more certainty that you have your ducks in a row. The combination of the sweetheart letter that we create, the letter and the video from the mortgage broker showing that you're pre-approved, and then the screenshot of the bank account showing that you have the deposit ready for them to take action allows us to go in with a more aggressive offer price, thus saving you money. This year alone, we've saved up to $110,000 off the listing price by following this simple but effective three-step buyer's process. At High Tide Real Estate, we want to get you that home, but we also want to save you some money. Mistake number 6. Choosing the wrong area depending on hype and what you've seen online. You can look online and you can Google, but be careful. What you Google for, you will find. And there are some pretty cool areas on Vancouver Island, but there's also some areas that may not fit what you and your family are looking at. Give an example. We had a client that wanted to move onto one of the Gulf Islands. They had Googled it, they'd watched the videos, they loved the lifestyle, they loved the culture, but what they didn't take into account is this. The ferry twitch. Looking at the ferry all the time going, oh, am I going to make it this day? Am I going to make it that day? Also, they had to keep long lists because there was no major grocery stores on the Gulf Island. So if you're going to live on an island and you want to go to places like Walmart, Costco, and really bulk up, you've got to be organized and you have to buy and store in bulk. It wasn't too long, 9 months to 10 months, those same clients were calling us back going, look, we gotta sell. So what you wanna do is make sure that you're not following the hype or just following what you're falling in love with, but make sure that it's realistic. For example, in Victoria, there are some amazing areas that are around the Inner Harbor area. If you're looking at the Songhees, if you're looking at Dallas Road, amazing places to live, but also high congestion of traffic and people. Now also the prices as a premium. We had a client that was living up island, sold their huge home, they had lots of room, big lot, ended up moving down to the Songhees area to a small townhome and just found it was so congested. They said that they felt like everybody was looking in their windows, so they didn't have any privacy. So this is some things that you want to take into consideration and why it's so important to work with a qualified real estate agent that works and lives in that specific area. Every area on the island has its dark side, has its bright side. We want to make sure we're not just seeing the bright side, that we're seeing the full picture of the specific area and of that neighborhood. Mistake number 7. This is the final mistake. It's not taking in the monthly expenses of what it's going to cost to live on Vancouver Island. I often joke with my clients, do you know what BC stands for? And they go, British Columbia? I said, no, bring cash. BC stands for bring cash. It is one of the #1 most expensive places to live in Canada for a reason. And these are consumables that you may not consider. Things like grocery expenses, like eating. You want to budget in for a minimum of $900 to $1,200 a month for your grocery expenses. Now, of course, we live on an island. There's a lot of things that are trucked in, but we do get things that are grown local or milk by island farms that is local, but the cost of the actual labor here is very high, which ends up being a higher price at the grocery stores. This doesn't take into account if you have specialized diets like paleo, if you're vegetarian, or if you're buying only organic, you'll want to budget in for a higher price. The other factor you'll want to calculate it in is the cost of utilities, specifically BC Hydro. Unlike a lot of places in the States where they have competition for different hydro markets, we have one supplier, BC Hydro. If you don't want lights on, great, they'll pull the meter and cut the power. But in today's age and era, we do need electricity in most cases to survive, unless you're living off the grid in one of those remote Gulf islands that I talked about. Now, hydro can be a major expense, especially if you have baseboard heating. Don't be surprised if you see your monthly hydro bills anywhere from $400 to $800 a month, depending on the size of your homes. Of course, people come and live here because of the mild temperatures, but also we get a lot of rain. Our rainy season starts in November, so you want to think about this, that you'll want to take the chill off the home. So if you have baseboard heating, it's going to go up. Now, if you think, well, I have a heat pump, be careful with the heat pump because that can get very expensive as well. My wife Bianca and I just moved into our new home last year and we turned that heat pump on. Now it didn't have a gas backup. Now what does that mean? That most heat pumps will have 50 to 100 amp electrical element that's inside of the heat pump, that when the temperatures do drop below zero, the heat pump does not have the efficiency to put out the heat that it will take to warm the home. So then it kicks in with electric backup heat. So when you look at your electrical panel and you're seeing a 50 amp or 100 amp breaker that says HVAC, you'll know what that's for. Our electrical bills, even with a heat pump, average $350 to $400 a month. That's just for a family of 3. So pro tip here is that when we're working with our clients and we're going to calculate the monthly expenses, we ask the seller's agent for at least 2 years of utility bills so we can really average it out. We don't ask for 1 because we might have had a cold snap or a very mild winter. So it's nice to get that 2-year average so that we can properly plan for those utility bills. Now, talking about utility bills, when I moved on the island 30 years ago, they did not have water meters, but now almost every community on the island has water meters. And as our summers are getting hotter and the temperatures are getting more extreme, if you have a sprinkler system or irrigation, what's gonna happen? That monthly bill is going to increase for water and you're gonna get billed quarterly, and you may be surprised on what those quarterly bills look like. So in order to anticipate those costs, we want to make sure that we have a great spreadsheet with what are the average monthly utility costs so they don't sneak up on you in the end. Those are the 7 mistakes that people make when moving to Vancouver Island, especially if they're not working with our team, where we have the ability to warn them ahead of time for them to avoid this. Now, don't get me wrong, I love living on Vancouver Island. The oceans, the mountains, the nature, the people, the festivals, the events, Mount Washington with skiing and snowboarding, the trails, downhill mountain biking, fishing, the list goes on and on. And if you and your family are looking to make the move to Vancouver Island, no matter if you're 1 month or 1 year away, all of our contact details are down below. Set up a Zoom call with myself, Justin White, or one of our team members at High Tide Real Estate Group. Let's get those questions answered now so you can make an educated decision for what's best for you and your family. And if you're new to the channel, you'll want to click on that subscribe button down below and tap that bell so you'll be the first to get real estate information and lifestyle information about living on Vancouver Island. And if you're looking to plan a trip out to look at real estate, reach out to myself or one of my team members. We'd be happy to set up an exploratory tour for you and your family. If not, we're gonna see you in the next video.